Welcome to the second part of our look at what will be happening in the Port of Hamburg in the year 2020. Hamburg has a big advantage. The port is part of the city's image, and so we have to keep working to make sure people still want to come here, whether for business or leisure. The big issues in the Port of Hamburg in 2020, right here in the latest episode of Port is What We Do. First stop, the Port Railway. Hamburg has by far the largest port railway in Europe, and work to upgrade it will be continued in 2020. We've invested as necessary over the years. We've renovated and modernized the track infrastructure. And thanks to the involvement of IT specialists and cooperation with other rail companies, the Port Railway has made major successes. For example, the locomotive service point. The service center for locomotives is a real milestone and unique in Germany. It's efficient, dynamic and digital. The locomotive service center also contributes to the success of the Port Railway. The Port Railway is the major competitive advantage of the port, of course, because it connects us with the massive European hinterland. Disruptions are kept to an absolute minimum, and this reliability, enabling delivery schedules to be met, is a key competitive advantage. Many customers in the Port of Hamburg really appreciate that. Almost half of all containers are now shipped by rail. The Port of Hamburg will continue trailblazing in 2020, including the use of innovative digital technology. Innovation for us is very real. It's far more than just research and development. We want to make sure when we talk about drone flights and unmanned surface vehicles that they can be flown safely. We want to know what will happen when an autonomous drone meets a human skipper. How will people react to such vehicles? Drones above and on the water as part of the Port Wing's digital testbed. The use of virtual reality, augmented reality and artificial intelligence, all digital solutions that will change the Port of Hamburg. To maintain our competitiveness, we have to push ahead with digitalization, but also train people, keep them involved and create new efficiencies in our daily work. The Port of Hamburg's digital twin is one of the most exciting projects of the port's digital future. With a digital twin, it's much easier to plan infrastructure projects. They make it possible to avoid mistakes because the human eye doesn't always register danger or obstacles. It's also possible to see into areas that you can't see with the naked eye. You can see the whole structure of a building in the soil, which also helps when you want to change it. It's a future we're working towards, and we have exciting ideas. We're going to keep at it. So the port is becoming increasingly digital. But what is the port doing to ensure security and prevent cyber attacks? We've implemented a system in which we try to close all the gaps before a hacker can penetrate the network. That requires a machine which repeatedly simulates attacks. Then we can see where the weak points are that every company has and find them before the attackers do. The Port of Hamburg is part of a network of international ports, chain port, where issues like this are discussed. The cruise industry is also set to play an important role this year. Based on current plans, 210 cruise ships will dock at the 3 cruise terminals this year. Personally, I think cruise ships give people the opportunity to experience the port for the first time, whether they're going out or landing. Hamburg is at the cutting edge of sustainable cruise destinations, which the industry is taking seriously. Waste management, sewage management, emissions, they're all taken very seriously in the cruise industry. In many ways, the cruise industry is leading the way, looking at hydrogen fuel cells, power generation, shore power, which is already being used here. And I think if you take all these factors into account in combination and look at the whole picture fairly, bearing in mind there will be more change, the cruise industry has a great future. Environmentally friendly ship operation. That goes for the Port of Hamburg's fleet too. 3 years after its founding, the fleet has become firmly established as the city shipping company. 50 ships are currently in operation. We celebrated the keel laying of 2 fireboats in 2019. Ships that are multifunctional. They can be used as inspection ships and also as fireboats. Both will go into operation in 2020. The Hamburg fleet sees itself as a role model for low-emissions shipping. We're always trying to integrate new technology into our fleet. We've been using synthetic fuels for some time, enabling us to reduce emissions very successfully. We've also been investing in exhaust cleaning systems for the 2 ships that go into service in 2020. They're both hybrid ships which can be operated fully electrically for several hours. And of course, it will be time to celebrate the port's birthday again in 2020. The Hamburg Port Authority is now 15 years old. In that decade and a half, it's undergone a total transformation and become a modern and successful company that looks to the future. Well, after 15 years of the HPA's existence, I think you have to keep looking ahead and see how we will change in the future. It's great to see how many new young people we're taking on and how they bring in new ideas, and also older people who've come from other industries. It's that mixture that counts. So the company isn't aging. Quite the opposite. It's constantly being rejuvenated by new energy and new ideas. Taking action for the future, staying curious and brave every day, and keeping your eyes open. We are always trying to improve, and I think we're on track. I think we can look back proudly on the past 15 years, and I think that we should be able to celebrate appropriately in October. That's the way it should be. So how about the old question of New Year's resolutions in 2020? We must keep working on sustainability, digitalisation and competitiveness so that the Port of Hamburg remains an attractive place to work in the future as well. Just like me, I go jogging in Lenkers Harbour, and I think it's really positive that I don't feel I'm breathing in exhaust gases or think, this is an ugly industrial zone that I have to keep away from. No, I'm glad to be there in my leisure time too, as well as for work. That's not really a resolution, but a goal, and we're going to continue working on it. So that's it, a look at the Port of Hamburg in 2020 and the big issues it's facing. Continue to follow us on YouTube and Instagram, because this year too, of course, Port is what we do.
Port is what we do.